Canto 10, chapter 75, text 8. We will read from 8 till 17. Yes, and text 8 is on the board. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Great Viksadasya Bhavitsu Sri Tameshu. Great Viksadasya Bhavitsu Sri Tameshu. Svistesha Sunrita Samarana Dakshinabi. Satye Sasatvatapate Sharanam Pravishte. Shakustatat Fabritas Napanam Dunatyam. Shatrustatat Fabritas Napayam Dunatyam. Nadyam. Nadyam. Okay. Viksadasya Bhavitsu Saritamesu. Svistesha Sanrita Samarana Dakshinabi. Satye Sasatvatapate Sharanam Pravishte. Shatrustatat Vapabritas Napanam Dunatyam. Ret Viksadasya Bhavitsu Saritamesu. Spiste Sasurite Samarana Dakshinabi. Satye Sasatvatapate Sharanam Pravishte. Shatrustatat Vapabritas Napanam Dunatyam. Nadyam. There's no I. Nadyam. Nadyam. So please repeat word for word. Yeah, please repeat. Someone wants to try. Viksadasya Bhavitsu Sritameshu. Svistesha Sanrita Samarana Dakshinabi. Satye Sasatvatapate Sharanam Pravishte. Shatrustatat Vapabritas Napayam Dunatyam. Viksadasya Bhavitsu Sritameshu. Svistesha Sanrita Samaram Dakshinabi. Satye Sasatvatapate Sharanam Pravishte. Strata Panapitas Napeam Dunyam
Vedveksadasya bahuvitsu surishtameshu.
Shetveksadasya Bhuvitsu Saridameshu
Videshu sumrita samadhana dakshinavi.
Kristesha Samrita Savana Dakshinavi
Shadyecha sattva-tapatesh charanam pravishte.
Satyesa Satvatapate Sharanam Pavishte
Shakrustatatva abrita snapanam vyudanadyam.
Satyustata Tvadabhivas Napayam Dyunadhyam. Read this, please. Ritveksadasya Bhavitsu Suridameshu Svistesha Samrita Samana Dakshinamihi Satyesa Satvatapate Sharanam Pavishte Satrustata Tvadapitas Napayam Dhanyavyam. Word for word translation. Ritvik, the priests, Sadasya, the prominent members of the assembly who helped officiate in the sacrifice. Bahuvitsu, those who were greatly learned. Suritamishu, and the best well-wishers. So, well, is that so? Being honored. So, Nritta, with pleasing words. Samarana, auspicious offerings. Dakshinavihi, and gifts expressing gratitude. Sedye, the king of Sedi, Shishupal, Cha, and Sattvatapate, of the Lord of the Sattvatas, Krishna. Sharanam, the feet. Pravishte, having entered. Shakro, they executed. Tata, then, to, and Avabrita Snapanam, the Avabrita bath, which completed the sacrifice. Dew of heaven, Nadyam, in the river, the Yamuna. Translation. After the priest, the prominent delegates, the greatly learned saints, and the king's most intimate well-wishers had all been properly honored with pleasing words, auspicious offerings, and various gifts as remuneration. After that, the king of Sedi had entered the lotus feet of the Lord of the Sattvatas. The Avabrita bath was performed in the divine river Yamuna. Purport. The gifts offered to the distinguished guests include valuable jewelry. There is also a purport of Jiva Goswami. Bahuvitse refers to Brahmins and other priests who had great knowledge. The priest engaged in giving Yudhishthir the Avabrita bath. After Tatha, everything was completed with contented heart. And also, This occurred after Shishupal entered the Lord. Of these two events, the bath is thus emphasized. He bathed in the divine river, or Ganga, with the desire that the city should be related to the Ganga, just as it was related to the Yamuna, which actually flows near the city. Mention of the divine river lends respect to the family capital city. Sanatana Goswami more or less repeats the same thing, but he writes, he bathed in the river, in the divine river, which usually refers to Ganga, to indicate its attractiveness. It was beautiful coming from afar. This is made clear later. Now I will read the next verses up to 17. No purpose, but there are purpose of our previous acharyas, so I will read them. Mridanga Sankapavana Dundurana Kigomukha Paditrani Vishitrani Nedu Avabritotsave. During the Avabrita celebration, the music of many kinds of instruments resounded, including pridangas, conchos, panavas, dunduris, kettle drums, and gomukha horns. Yeah. The Jiva Goswami has a comment. Dunduri is a type of arnaka. Who knows what an arnaka is? No? A type of what? Pataha is a type of dundubi. That's for the experts. But I can understand that BBT translators or the translators at that time did not repeat that commentary of Jiva Goswami. Text 10. Nartakyo naniturishta kaya kaya taso jahu vina benotam lom nadas tesham sadivan ashprishad. Female dancers danced with great joy, and choruses sang, while the loud vibrations of venas, flutes, and hand cymbals reached all the way to the heavenly regions. Jiva Goswami must have great knowledge of these instruments. He writes, the veena refers to a veena shaped like a turtle. The venu is a type of drum. Tala is kartal. The dancers were most prominent. Jiva Goswami comments, the festivity, saha, of the singers, the loud sound of the venas while dancers danced reached heaven. Though dancing depends on drums, venas, flutes, and kartals, and they are mentioned since they give special sweetness to the dancing. So it's a whole festival. That's the spirit, like the spiritual world, that comes all joyful because Krishna is in the center. Text 11. Shitratvacha pataka greh ibandasya nadar vabihi Spalankiter pater bhupa nirjayo malina. All the kings wearing gold necklaces then set off for the Yamuna. They had flags and banners of various colors and were accompanied by infantrymen and well-adorned soldiers riding lordly elephants, chariots, and horses. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments. The kings went out with 4 parts of the army: elephants, horses, chariots, and foot soldiers, in front of which were colorful banners on poles. Jiva Goswami. After describing the festivity of the path, the preparations for departure are described until verse 16. The kings had golden garlands on their gold crowns, appeared like a garland as they lined up. 12. Yadu Shinjaya Kamboja Kokekaya Kosala Kampayanto Bhuvam Sanyeh Chayamana Purasara. The massed armies of the Yadus, the Srinjayas, the Kambojas, the Kurus, the Kekayas, and the Kosalas made the earth tremble as they followed Yudhishthir Maharaj, the performer of the sacrifice, in procession. The kings are described. Kamboja refers to the king of Sudakshina and others, plus Jiva Goswami. Sanatana Goswami repeats that, but then he says, though many others were present, these are mentioned because of relationships of friendship, or because they increased the strength of the army, or they were the best. Text 13. Satayastviyashista Brahmagoshena Bhuyasa Devashipitri Gandharvas Tusturo Pushpa Vakshina. The assembled officials, the priests, and other excellent Brahmins resoundingly vibrated Vedic mantras, while the demigods, divine sages, Pitas, and Gandharvas sang praises and rained down flowers. So, Shiva Goswami said in this verse, the devatas and the sages are also described. That Sanatana Goswami adds, Vicha Chestka refers to Brahmins, another priest, or the best of the upper Varnas. The Gandharvas sprinkled flowers. 14. Svalankrita Nara Narayo Chandashkar Pusamabhari Vilimpatyo Visinthyantyo Vishaho Vividayasai. Men and women all adorned with sandalwood paste, flower garlands, jewelry, and fine clothing, sported by smearing and sprinkling one another with various liquids. Now it becomes very joyful. Jiva Goswami, the women especially were anointed with ointments, or everyone smeared in various manners, vilimpatya, and sprinkled various liquids. We will hear the details now. 15. Taila Gorasa Gandhoda Haritra Sandra Kunkumai Pumbir Lipta Pradim Pantyo Vicharo Parayoshita. The man smeared the courtesans with plentiful oil, yogurt, perfumed water, turmeric, and curcum powder, and the courtesans playfully smeared the man with the same substances. So, in the purport. Srila Prabhupada describes this scene as follows. That the men and women of Indraprastha, their bodies smeared with scents and floral oils, were nicely dressed in colorful garments and decorated with garlands, jewels, and ornaments. They were all enjoying the ceremony, and they threw on each other liquid substances like water, oil, milk, butter, and yogurt. Some even smeared these on each other's bodies. In this way, they were enjoying the occasion. The professional prostitutes were also engaged by jubilantly smearing these liquid substances of the body of the man, and the man reciprocated in the same way. All the liquid substances had been mixed with turmeric and saffron, and their color was a lustrous yellow. Shiva Goswami, he must have seen the pastime. He comments, the women got smeared more than the men. Anyway, text 16. Gupta nebis niragaman upalabdumeta devyo yata devimava devimanavar devyo Dhamatuleya sakibi parsis yamana Safrida Vikasa Vatana Vichehum. Surrounded by guards, King Yudhishthir's queen came out on their chariot to see the fun, just as the demigods' wives appeared in the sky in celestial airplanes. As maternal cousins and intimate friends sprinkled the queens with liquids, the ladies' faces bloomed with shy smiles, enhancing the queen's splendid beauty. Purport. The material cousins referred to here are Lord Krishna and such brothers of his as Gada and Sarana, and the friends mentioned are such persons as Bhima and Arjuna. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, the wives, Nridevya, the wives of Yudhishthir, such as Draupadi and Yodeyi. Yodeyi is mentioned in the Sanskrit, but yeah, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, Yodeyi, who is she? Nobody knows. In order to get pleasure, they went out of the city on chariots, just as the wives of the Devatas enjoying riding in airplanes. And nephew, Matulia, nephew here refers to the cousins on the husband's side. Though commonly it refers to those on the wife's side. That is, the sons of Vasudeva, brother of Kunti. The wives joked and played with their husbands, Devaran Uta Sakin, as will be seen in the next verse. It would be improper for them to joke with their cousins, such as Krishna, the most famous of the cousins. Therefore, the wives joked with the friends of their cousins, meaning Bhima, Arjuna, etc., who were their husbands. There is an etiquette in joking. Be careful. Shiva Goswami. This verse describes the place suitable for the wives of Yudhishthir, such as Draupadi, and his son's wives, after going to the bank of the Ganga. Draupadi and also the queens. Something pops up here. Draupadi and also the queens such as Rukmini saw the fun Since Draupadi and the others were principal to the sacrifice, the word Matuleya, maternal uncle's son, refers to the husband's cousins, just as nephew would refer to nephews on the husband's side. It would be improper to joke with material cousins on the wife's side. Of Yudhishthira's cousins, the most famous was Krishna. Thus, Matuleya here refers to Krishna, just as Govardhan is accepted as the most famous among the mountains. Hantayam Adres Abalahari Savarya. Of all the devotees, this Govardhan hill is the best. Srimad Bhagavatam 10, 21, 18. Krishna was the best husband. Others were also husbands, such as Bhima and other friends who were nearby. They were understood to be brothers. The next verse states that the wives of Yudhishthira squirted water on the brothers of Yudhishthira, Devaran, and their friends. Thus, in the eyes of the public, it was proper for them to joke with each other. They would not subject to criticism since their relationship was close. Also, Sanatana Goswami comments. Draupadi, Rukmini, and other queens came to the fun. The word Devya indicates their great beauty. The Devatas' wives came in the sky. The queens were sprinkled by friends of Krishna, Matulasya. Some say the word should be Sakhivihi by the wives of Krishna. They appeared more beautiful than before. And then we come at the final verse, which is 17. Tadevaram utasakin sichichur achtibi klinam baram vivritagatra kochur amatyam Atsukyam mukta kavarashya vamana malyam Shobam dado maladiyam ruchirer viharani. All the queens squirted water from syringes at their brothers-in-law and other male companions. Their own garments became drenched, revealing their arms, breasts, thighs, and waist. In their excitement, the flowers fell from their loosened braids. By these charming pastimes, they agitated those with contaminated consciousness. That's Srila Prabhupada writes in Krishna book. Such behavior between pure males and females is enjoyable, but persons who are materially contaminated become lustful. So they sprinkled water on their husbands using leather bags filled with water. That's from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. These actions generated lusty thoughts in person like Duryodhana, but not impure persons. There's Jiva Goswami comments. The limbs which were drenched are described: breasts, thighs, and waist. But being absorbed in spraying water with enthusiasm, their braids came undone, and the garlands fell off their braids. Another version has Kavara Patanana Malya. Those with contaminated minds like Duryodhana became agitated, but not the righteous, but to speak of the husbands and their brothers. The last comment by Sanatana Goswami. Draupadi and others sprinkled water on Krishna, Rukmini and others sprinkled brothers-in-law. Because of their damp cloth, their breast, thighs, and waist of their bodies, Gatra, became revealed. All their breast, thighs, waist and all limbs became revealed. Although their clothing was wet, their breasts, etc., were not revealed, avivita, because their hair came undone, their garlands fell off because of their absorption in sprinkling water. The descriptive terms successively indicate more absorption in sprinkling. By these sprinkling pastimes filled with excellent rasa, they produced grief because of intolerance. Because of intolerance, Xoban in Duryodhana and others, but not in the devotees. Om Akyanati Manasya Jananjana Shnaka Shakshvan Militam Yena Tasmai Sigurave Namah Chichetaya Manopistam Staptam Yena Bhutane Svam Rupkadamyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shiyuda Padakamanam Shiyum Vaishnavam Shah Shirupam Jagajatam Sakanaganatam Vitam Tam Sativam Satvitam Sabdutam Pajana Saitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sankanalita Shivishakam Vitam Sham He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Chatpate Gopesha Gopkakanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gawanti Radhe Vrindavanashve Vishavan Sutadevi Panamama Vipi Vancha Kalpa Vishanti Prasin Vedisha Patnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasa Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namani. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Bhakti Prachavini. Nirvishesha Srimad Bhaskacharya Satani Srila Prabhupada. We see in this chapter the opulence of Yudhishthira and the Pandavas is at full display, and this Raja Suya sacrifice turns into a festival. So that is the spiritual world, every moment a festival. But the festival is different from the festivals usually on this earth, which are inspired by passion and ignorance. A lot of ignorance and passion mixed. But this is transcendental pleasure. This is the pleasure of the soul that it's at a different level of consciousness. And what's the difference? Because between mundane festivals and the transcendental festival, Krishna is in the center. Krishna is connected. And then everything becomes joyful and flourishes. We see here the Pandavas when many years before, Duryodhana went to his father Dhritarashtra and he expressed that he felt unhappy because all the attention went to the Pandavas. And he plotted how to kill them. And he asked Dhritarashtra, his father, to favor them, to favor Duryodhana and all his friends. And Dhritarashtra said, I will take advice of the elders. The elders were Vidura, Bhishma Dev, Dronacharya. They consulted with them. And they decided, yes, let's divide the kingdom in two and give half to the Pandavas and the other half to the sons of Dhritarashtra. And Dhritarashtra agreed with that. But he gave his sons the best part, the most opulent part, and he gave to the Pandavas Indraprastha, which was like a desert. There was nothing there. But then the Pandavas accepted Indraprastha, and they started to develop it. Of course, with the blessings of Krishna. Krishna was always in the center. And suddenly, it turned gradually into a very fertile, the soil became very fertile, and so many plants, flowers started to blossom there. And the Vishwakarma built a great palace for them, and Maya Danava put the architect of the demons, put all his illusory craftsmanship into the building, and became extraordinary. I never seen such a palace, and everything, and the Pandavas made new allies, friendship with other kings, and they became very powerful. And Duryodhana's envy increased. And we see here they performed the Rajasuya sacrifice, and then we know Sisupal entered the body of Krishna, that he got the full mercy. That, of course, that's another story. Why did he get a mercy with Sisupal? It's Jai and Vijay from Vaikuntha. Therefore, he got back his original situation in the spiritual world. That's a different story. But then, yes, everything was flourishing. Queen Kunti, she prays in the first canto, chapter 8, text 39. She said to Krishna, if you leave us, then our land will not be beautiful anymore. We will lose all our opulences and all our strength. It's all because of you that we are now flourishing. So that's knowledge, that we will only flourish when Krishna is in the center of our lives. And Duryodhana became very, very envious, because he did not put Krishna in the center of his life. In life, no way. So that's a bit the context of this verse. But especially the Prabhupada in his purport says, if envious people see this pastime or hear this pastime, they become sexually agitated. So this part of the Bhagavatam is for those with pure consciousness. They will not become agitated, because there is no identification with the body. But it shows the difference between the vision of life of a devotee and and the vision of life of a materialistic person, a non-devotee. That a non-devotee will see everywhere opportunities for sense gratification. That like a good businessman will see everywhere opportunities to do business. That so that is, but the devotee, he sees everything is connected with Krishna, and he sees everywhere opportunities to serve Krishna. So that's a different consciousness that Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Prakati Kiyamani Guna Karna Sarvasa Ahankara Vimudatma Kartam Itamanyate. That so Ahankara Vimudatma, those who have Ahankara, this false ego, this tendency to enjoy and thinking this is mine for my enjoyment, that they are Vimud Atma, bewildered soul, because they are striving to give enjoyment for a temporary body, which they are not. And it's in principle insanity. Therefore, they are Vimuda. Vimuda means super ass. That so in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, in Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada, in one of the purpose in the 18th chapter, writes that one should have create the ability, everyone should create the ability to engage oneself 24 hours a day in devotional service. That and we see from the moment one becomes a devotee, then devotee is always busy, as to cook for Krishna, as to serve Krishna, as to hear about Krishna, as to preach about Krishna. 24 hours are not enough. We are always busy. But in material life, yeah, that's boring. That's what it is. That, and not only the ability to engage ourselves, but the ability to engage others in Krishna consciousness. When Jayananda was building the first Rath cart for the Rath Yatra, that the cart was built outside on a plot of land next to the temple, and someone came by and he stopped the person. Do you have a second? Please hold this piece of wood here. And the man was holding it, and he was putting nails in it or screws. And now the next one. So at the end, he had like 10 persons helping him, and he was cooking for them. That offer them prasadam. But of course, this spiritual vision, because we read these pastimes here, that and I read all these commentaries. Why I'm reading these commentaries? Because these Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, they understand these verses very deeply because they have spiritual vision that their spiritual eyes are open. We in the beginning before speaking on spiritual matters, we pray Om Ajnana Timrandasya Jnanjalam Shnagam. that we pray to the spiritual master, please remove the ignorance from our eyes. Give us spiritual vision that we can see things as they are. And during the Kartik months, that I was looking on YouTube to every day to the Kartik inspirations by Satyananda Maharaj, and he said in a certain presentation, when we hear about Krishna, when we hear about the pastimes, especially the pastimes of the Vrindavan pastimes, but also the other pastimes, then our inner eye will go open, and then we will start to see the pastime. So the opening of this inner eye, the opening of our heart, so these acharyas give these commentaries, but how did they be able to give these commentaries? I found a few ways. First, they are analyzing the Sanskrit. That's one way. That, like we started to read from, this is text 8, but that in the commentary there's Sanatana Goswami writes, no, it was Shiva Goswami. In verse 4-7, that Adaya after Vidura means Bhishma, Drona, and others. How does he know that Adaya means Bhishma, Drona, and others? Interesting. That's analyzing the Sanskrit. That's one way. And then there are other ways. That's another way is visualizing that we hear these pastimes and then you visualize and you start to see more things. But the ultimate way that allows our acharyas to give more details which are not in the Sanskrit even. That it's because they enter the aprakat lila of Krishna. These lilas of Krishna, they are eternal. And they enter these pastimes. They see the pastimes in their heart. And by that sometimes they can give astonishing comments and say, how do they know? But they see the pastime. It's direct perception for them. Their inner eye is open. Yes. It's interesting because I looked at the verse for tomorrow, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi 3:5, and there in the Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada speaks about how to enter this aprakat lila, or these unmanifested pastimes, how to do it. So that part I will keep for the lecture of tomorrow. But these are different ways to analyze these pastimes. But this chapter finally is about Duryodhana becoming envious. and we see the effect of seeing all this on Duryodhana is that he becomes more envious. But the effects of those in pure consciousness, they become more and more joyful. So that is the difference. This is the 10th canto. And the 10th canto can only be fully understood by those pure in heart. Therefore, by studying the first 9 cantos of the Bhagavatam, we can purify our heart. And then we can hopefully understand something of this 10th canto. Of course, the Bhagavatam is the Amalam Purana, are for those who are situated in pure goodness. But we have also the Mahabharata. The Mahabharata is, in principle, you have the same pastimes there. But the spiritual significance is not so deeply explained in the Bhagavatam. And it's more in story form. But the Bhagavatam presents very deep philosophy. Unless we have realized the philosophy, these pastimes are not easy to understand. But what we can learn is that on the spiritual platform, everything is joyful. Everything is a festival. That every word is all what is spoken are poems or songs. Every step is a dance. So it's joyful. To attain this joyfulness, Savaipum Saparoda Moyato Bhakti Adokshin Ahait Kapateyata Yayatma Shubhashidati. Yayatma Shubhashidati. The Atma, the soul, will enjoy that Supashidati. Pashidati means enjoy. Su means very much, very much. That's also what the Vedanta Sutra says. Anandamaya Vyasat. We are meant for enjoyment, factually, but spiritual enjoyment is the enjoyment of the soul, not the enjoyment of the body. That is insanity. So all these residents, or all these participants there in Yudhishthira Maharaj's Surya sacrifice, they were pure and there was no contamination. But those who see these pastimes or hear these pastimes with an impure heart, that's a problem. They become degraded by it, factually. Because it's offensive to think in that way about the resonance of the spiritual world. Yes, it gives us a glimpse, and during the Kartik month, we have certainly all get a glimpse of the spiritual joyfulness and sweetness, especially. A few weeks ago, I was at Govardhan, and you feel, at Govardhan, doing parikram, I went a little higher, near to where Govardhan's beginning. You see all the stones of Govardhan. Of course, it's best not to walk on it. but I was meditating there together with 100 monkeys. And they were all peaceful. Of course, Doi Bazaar, that's something else, but there they were all peaceful. And then they were walking along the path, and you see many dogs. None of them is barking, they are all like sadhus practically. And many cows come by, beautiful cows. And everything green and beautiful. That time of the year, Govardhan is very beautiful. And you feel the sweetness of the atmosphere. And therefore, when we can go to the holy dance sometimes, it inspires us, you see, you feel the sweetness of Vrindavan. But also in these pastimes, not only the Vrindavan pastimes, also these pastimes we are here. It's so joyful that and a festival. So life is for experiences festival. And that's the most optimistic vision, the vision of the soul, that the mundane festivals will degrade you. That's the body. That's difference between the enjoyment of the body and the soul. In the beginning, difficult to understand, but if you become purified, you start to understand. And then this body enjoyment becomes disgusting. That's the experience of great souls. Thank you very much. That is what I could say. Is any question or comment? Yes.
You were speaking about the pure. Do you consider that the attraction for some books it's because we are not pure at heart, and some inattractions for some writings is not because we are not pure in heart, or what is our attractions for some books and others not?
Yeah. If we are on a pure spiritual platform, we will be attracted to spiritual books, especially the Bhagavatam and the Nectar of Devotion and Bhagavad Gita. That I know many devotees who joined our movement. They kept Prabhupada's books and they threw away all other. No interest anymore. Yes, but of course we have also our nature, material nature. Yeah, you have the spiritual Svadharma and the material Svadharma. As long as we have not attained our spiritual Svadharma, our spiritual engagement in devotional service, we must act according to our material Svadharma and try to use that in Krishna's service. So we may be 80% pure, still 20% contaminated, and you will still be attracted. But my experience is that attraction is there, and you may look at it sometimes and show some interest, but you will never do it. But the attraction is there, and sometimes you have to work that out and get some frustration, and then you let it go and you become pure. So, and that's a process of using our psychophysical nature in the service of Krishna. Therefore, Krishna repeats 2 in Bhagavad Gita, 2 times in Bhagavad Gita. We should act according to our own nature and not try to do the duties or apply the nature of others. That's dangerous. that, so we have to be honest. And that honesty is in goodness, is a Brahman, that, yeah. I hope this helps. Good. Okay, good. Thank you very much. Chandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.